I I'm feeling both very sane and very crazy all at the same time, and I'm going to try my best to articulate how I feel. I have had, to be quite honest, a very tough year and a half. I have spent a long time, longer than that, feeling as though God. Before I make this video, I want to make everybody abundantly aware of a couple of things. One, in this very moment, I feel both insanely lucid and also insanely crazy. And while I'm still lucid and able to articulate how I feel, I want to document it and preserve this some way, somehow. Another disclaimer is I recognize that I'm not special. And that's as lucid as I can be. I recognize that everything I'm about to say and share is not an isolated, personalized, me-only experience. However, I'm the only one talking right now. Therefore, it feels very isolating. So I will be using language that will make it sound as though it is I, and only I, suffering from the crazy. But I am lucid enough to recognize that I am not special, and that a lot of people are experiencing what I am experiencing. And to a degree, and subconsciously, I believe, I hope that me yelling into the void right now and feeling comfortable enough to voice my opinions to an inanimate object like my phone will bring some sort of comfort or language or relief to somebody else. Because if I found somebody who was able to talk about the way I feel in a way that made sense to me right now, it would actually bring me a lot of those things. Comfort and relief and a sense of belonging, really. And if none of that happens, so be it. Then maybe I need to reconsider my disclaimer. And I really am special and alone on this one, but I am lucid enough to recognize that that is silly to think. So, without further ado, everybody on this planet is being chased by something. My belief is that the majority of people are being chased by a bee, and they are able to walk away from the bee. Mind you, that bee is very much chasing them, and that bee very much has the ability to hurt them, and that bee would be mighty inconvenient, especially on a bad day. And so you gotta walk pretty steady, pretty quick, pretty fast, pretty aware to avoid the bee. And so I understand that everybody is being chased by something. The part where I start to feel a little special, I don't feel like I am being chased by a bee. I feel like I am being chased by a bear on cocaine, and I've been doing it for miles, for marathons upon marathons without a break, on the physique of a 92-year-old decrepit senior citizen. It is a miracle that I was able to run 1 mile. How I've made it to mile 1,297 million trillion thousand is beyond anyone's comprehension. Mind you, I am sprinting. Do you have any idea the image I am trying to portray here with a bear on cocaine? Have you ever seen a bear just in general? Have you ever seen somebody on cocaine in general? Imagine the two. You're sprinting, dog, and your body recognizes that bear as legitimate danger, as a legitimate threat, as SOS, big dog. Although you are being chased by a bee, my friend, you can walk. And, like, you can sometimes, like, take a nap and be like, the bee will be alright. It can get me. It's fine. Whatever. Bring me another bee tomorrow. This will suck, but whatever. Bring me another bee. I have one bear, probably. Actually, I probably have a lot of bears now that I think about it. But it feels like one. Just a very, very determined fiend of a bear. So your body doesn't really, as a bee, as someone being chased by a bee, your body doesn't really go into fight or flight mode over that guy. Like, you might, if you're allergic, you might have a little extra flair to you that makes you a little extra aware of the bee, but it's still a bee. I have a bear on cocaine. You understand what I'm saying? Also, part of me being lucid is being self-aware enough to realize I supply the bear with the substance. I am the bear's drug dealer. Life too. A lot of people are giving my bear a lot of drugs. Mainly me. And I need to stop that, I think. I should. I really should. I should also just freaking find a bee. I wish I was a bee person. That's the thing. I wish I could convert the bear into a bee. Is that a thing? Could I do that? That's a further thought for further. I haven't gotten that far in my lucidity. Anyway, as far as feeding the bear, I wake up, right? And the bear's just in the room, ready to catch me. So it's just always sprinting. Even when I'm sleeping, to be fair. Anyway, but just to keep the analogy going, I wake up, the bear is there, already high on its own supply, given by life. Go bear. Bad me. But then, as the day goes on, because my body is in fight or flight, because I am extra sensitive to my surroundings, because my body is so tense and therefore in a lot of pain, and because keep in mind, my body is, I am mentally aware enough to know that there is no bear. Okay? I am lucid enough to know that there is no bear. The bear is not real. I'm crazy enough for my body to feel as though that bear is very real. I am able to look at myself having a panic attack going, you silly girl, you're okay. But I start to feel crazy because my body has no freaking idea. And no matter how hard I try to calm my body down from my mind, from a bird's eye view, trying to, hey girly pop, it's okay. My body says, what are you on? Do you not see the bear? And people who are only being chased by a bee go, why are you running so fast? They don't see the bear either. And they don't realize that by asking that, they're giving the bear cocaine. And I know, mentally, soberly, lucidly, sanely, that they're not giving the bear cocaine. My body is convinced that everybody is a dangerous cartel, a dangerous drug dealer. on the bear's side. And my brain knows that's ridiculous. My body has no idea. So I'm constantly fighting myself between the two, which makes me feel crazy. I don't know how to convince my body that it is okay. Right now, it thinks it is still being chased by a bear, but I haven't given it drugs. If anything, I've taken the drugs out of the bear's hands because I am talking as calmly as I possibly can. I've also already poured my eyeballs out to a very close friend and processed some of this, but they were busy, and so I just wanted to continue my cycle of thought. But the bear is still there, and right now, I would love to go to the library, and I would love to be surrounded by books and by people who like doing things that I like doing, and ideally a library with lots of natural light, so everything feels airy and pretty, but lots of air conditioning so I can wear something cozy over top. Which leads me to how I just, in the last 20 minutes or so, accidentally started giving the bear cocaine. I want to go to the library to make myself feel better after having a terrible day at work. But because my body entered a fight or flight mode, where I very much saw a bear, and here's the thing, too, while I'm on the thought, sometimes the bear is visible. Sometimes the bear is visible to anybody with eyeballs. And it's not just living in my head or on my shoulders or in my gut or on my back or behind me. This is how I feel this chase energy, usually in these spots. But sometimes the bear is right in front of you. Like today at work, something really inappropriate happened. Innocently inappropriate, but enough where I saw a private part that I did not anticipate on seeing today. And technically my fault for seeing the private part. Damn, now I gotta explain all of this. Long to try to condense what happened to me today. I was helping a couple out today. An older couple, a couple that I'm very familiar with, a couple that I have gone out with, a couple that I appreciate, and a couple that appreciates me, and a couple that I have held in very high regard. And they asked me for help with their phone, and I said, not a problem. And I started going through their phone and helping them out, and in the midst of that, I needed access to their email, and because they are older, it was tricky, and so I did what I've always done, and what I've always done with my Spanish-speaking mom. And it's not that she's technologically incapable, it's just that language barriers can be tricky, so I feel very familiar with technology and muscle memory and helping with passwords and stuff like that. So, innocently minded, I opened their email and I went to their last sent email and to get their email address, because that's all I wanted, and they didn't know their email address, and in doing so, I opened up their last email and I saw a picture and I saw who it was sent to, the thing is, I had to then act as if I hadn't seen anything at all. I didn't have to act that way. I felt the need to in that moment, and I did, and that's what I chose to do, and it was a split moment decision. It's not like I sat and meditated on it. It's just in that decision, I decided, let's pretend like nothing ever happened, shall we? And so we very quickly closed the thing that I was just doing, and I tried to make it seem as though I didn't see anything, and I had to pretend like I didn't just violate my own eyeballs. I didn't just change my opinion of what I just saw. It was very, in that moment, it felt very world-shattering. My body felt as though reality shifted, and my reality felt as though my eyeballs had seen something that it should have never seen. And my body felt a lot of shame, and my body felt a lot of disgust, and a lot of, and I don't know why it felt this way, but I'm just now finding the words for how I felt in that moment. In the moment, I couldn't tell you any of these words. I was just in shock. But these were the things I was giving the bear, I guess. Or maybe this is what the bear is made out of, to be fair. This happened to me. I didn't give the bear diddly squat, to be fair. But I also did do it to myself. But I didn't mean to do it to myself. And they didn't mean to do it to themselves. And so I'm also very conflicted. Anyway, I bring this up to a person who I feel as though is someone I can look up to, and someone that I would give me good advice and would help me make sense of the feelings that I was feeling. And instead, it was dismissed, and they didn't, it was innocent. All of this is innocent, and this is the sober-minded part of my brain. This is the very lucid, or the very grace-filled, and very conscious, and very aware side of myself going, none of this was malicious on anybody's part. Anybody, and nobody is being malicious. My body, however, felt unsupported. It felt betrayed. It felt misunderstood. It felt lost. It felt confused. It felt dismissed. Why is your reaction and my reaction not the same? Why is your reaction and my reaction not the same? And if I look up to you, and if I value you, and if I love you, and if I respect you, and if I'm aware that I am being chased by a Looney Tune bear, and I understand that this bear is silly, and I understand that this bear is not real, then mentally, I am sober-minded enough, lucid enough, to want to believe you, that your reaction is the appropriate reaction. And so I'm going to try my best to convince myself that your reaction is the correct reaction. But my body's so fiercely disagrees. And so I feel like I'm being inauthentic to myself, and I'm lying to myself, and I'm suppressing my needs, and I'm not communicating what it is I actually want and what I actually need, because I'm trying to mimic the behavior of someone that's not being chased by a bear. And so I trust that if you're not being chased by a bear, you're in the right headspace. And if I'm being chased by a bear, I'm clearly in the wrong headspace. I'm in flight or fight mode, or fight or flight mode. But then I start feeling crazy, because who do I trust? Do I trust this person who doesn't even see my bear? Or do I trust my body, who's very aware of the bear? Anyway, in that moment, I felt dismissed. I felt whatever. And I tried my best to convince myself that their reaction was correct. And in doing so, I fed the bear more cocaine. In not honoring my own needs, I made my own needs feel more intense so that I would have to address my needs. But by the time I did address my needs, if my feelings were at 100 originally, they were now at 1,000. And so my need request is now at 1,000. And whereas a 10 would have looked like, I don't know what a 10 would have looked like. I don't know what a 10 would have looked like in this situation. But a 10 would have looked like, hey, can I go sit down for 5 minutes? 100 would have looked like, hey, I need to take a break for 30 minutes, an hour, I don't know. I need to decompress. I need to call a friend. I need to pray. But level 1,000 turned into, hey, I need to quit my job. I'm now in this moment realizing that level 1,000 feeds cocaine to the bear. Because taking a 5-minute break, no cocaine necessary. If anything, we get the bear to chill out for 5 minutes. 30-minute break, hour break, no consequences. Bear, chill out for 30 minutes. I get some people mad at me because they had to do a job that they weren't intended to do for 30 to 30 minutes, whatever. Telling my boss I need to quit. That's cocaine to the bear. Because now I gotta be about it. And that is going to give me much more to do when I'm already in fight or flight mode, which is giving more cocaine to the bear. Now I have to go to the library and look for a job and apply to jobs and deal with rejection sensitivity because I'm going to get rejection, and deal with the options that are out there because right now the options are dog caca. And even thinking about all of that is feeding cocaine to the bear. Because I've fed so much cocaine to the bear, now something as simple as going to the library is daunting. Why? I need to find something to wear that is comfortable and makes me feel like myself and is cozy and is not too tight, not too loose, not too itchy, not too silky, not too hot. But then when I go through all my things, nothing fits the criteria because I'm frenzied because there's a cocaine bear behind me. And then I think, oh, this is so difficult. How can I make this easy? I know I will buy the same shirt multiple different ways of one I like so that I never have to go through this decision fatigue ever again. But then I feed more cocaine to the bear because I think to myself, if I were to do that, that would require money. Do I have money right now? No. But then I think to myself, do I want to sacrifice my mental health by all this constant decision fatigue when I'm already in fight or flight mode? Or do I want to make my life a little bit easier by supplying myself with my needs? And if my needs are, I like consistent fabric on my body, then so be it. And yes, it's an investment. And then I think to myself, I give more cocaine to the bear. You should save your money, because if you do quit your job, or you get fired from your job because you told your boss you want to quit your job, and you seem like an unstable human being because you are being chased by a cocaine bear that no one can see, that you feed yourself, you should save your money. But then I'm back to decision fatigue, where I'm looking at my closet feeling miserable, and you would think, but Giselle, you have so many things to wear, and I would argue to you, no, I don't. I did really good at getting clothes for the winter, but now it is 100 degrees outside. And I have to do the exact same thing now for the summer, and I didn't prepare for the summer, and so it'll have to be a big ol'... I'm feeding cocaine to the bear right now as we speak. The more I think about it and the more I try to plan, the more it prohibits me from actually getting up to pick out a shirt. Any shirt. I could wear this current shirt. But my brain has labeled this shirt pajamas. So I can't wear pajamas outside. I need outside shirts. But I don't have enough heat outside shirts. What? No one thinks like this. The sane part of me thinks I'm making my life harder than it needs to be. And the crazy side of me thinks, why not make your life easier than it's ever been? A feeling I am feeling right now is very lonely, because I feel like anyone who would listen to this right now, I don't think, because I do a very poor job of explaining myself, it is really hard to understand me. And I really wish that someone could read between the lines and say the words for me. Make the decisions for me. I feel like I'm being chased by a bear right now. I'm being, I don't know which side of the fence is being really mean to myself right now. Some part of me is saying, get it together. You are crying on camera. People are gonna think you're crying for the internet. Put it away. Why would you ever make this public? Silly dramatic girl. Part of me understands that I'm going to view this in the future and cringe and think, you silly girl, it was never that deep. There was never a bear. Part of me understands that I'll be grateful, as in the future, these little moments should improve over time if I continue to be cognizant of them. I hope. Another way to feed the bear cocaine is feeling misunderstood. And so earlier today, when I felt like my feelings were dismissed, I felt like you don't understand what my body is going through. You understand the situation, but not the context. And that feeds the bear. And so maybe my boss is right. I do need to stand up for myself more. I need to find language to stand up for myself more. I don't have language to stand up for myself. I'm just now in this very moment having that epiphany. I don't have appropriate language to stand up for myself. I have inappropriate language to stand up for myself, and usually that's when I feel like the bear is literally with its hand around my neck and I'm going, F you, screw this, I'm over it, ah! And I get very indignant about what I deserve. Because at that point, it really does feel like life or death. Like the bear has me in a chokehold. There has to be a way that I can stand up for myself, advocate for myself, look out for myself with language that is appropriate, but still stresses urgency. In this very moment, I do not have the tools. So if you came here looking for tools, I have none to supply to you. If anything, I'd be more than willing to hear any supply you have. Immediately, I feed the bear by thinking to myself, I have tried countless tools and they never work. But that just means I haven't found the right tool. And that also means that most situations are not a one tool fixes all situation. It's a multiple tools and resource approach to things. And I don't even have one screwdriver in my toolbox. And a lot of life situations require a whole drill set, and I don't even have a hammer. So I should work on that. I don't know how to, so again, help. I fear I have lost the plot. But I do appreciate how incredibly cathartic this was. I don't necessarily feel better. The bear is still very much there. But less cocaine. It still has the high from telling my boss I'm going to quit my job. It still has the high from the cocaine that gave it, from the seeing something I shouldn't have seen and knowing now something I shouldn't know. I just want to throw up. Interesting, when the bear stops chasing, I literally just freeze. The bear didn't stop chasing, the bear's still there. It's fight, flight, freeze. And a big freezer. Well, let's try to come up with a solution real quick before this video cuts out. I'm gonna take a nap. In the Bible, Broski, I think it was Elijah, was having a bad day. One of the prophets. An angel of the Lord came to him, told him to eat and take a nap. So I'm gonna eat and take a nap. And then I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna write a to-do list so my thoughts are organized. On the to-do list, I'm gonna write apply to new jobs, pick out summer shirts, put them aside, make an inventory, and have a total of 7 shirts, one for every day of the week. And whatever deficit I have, buy that many shirts, one a week. I'm ruminating. I'm stuck. Notice how I'm lucid enough to know what I need to do and stuck enough to not know how to move forward. Food and a nap. No other solutions. Food and a nap. I don't know if you can hear my stomach, but food, nap. Thank you so much for watching. If you can relate in any way, please let me know. If you have any advice, please be kind about it. Don't feed the bear anymore cocaine.